everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back. If this is your 6th Heal Season 2 episode review, hope you're doing well, hope you're staying safe out there in the big old world of now. Like I said last time, we're playing a little bit of catch up. Yeah, that's basically about it. I was just, I don't know what I'm meandering around. I'm stupid. I'm dumb. This week, today on Heals, I am so freaking, this is, pardon my French. This was a fucking another amazing episode of Heals. This was like, oh my god. It's like, how well do you take a character that honestly throughout the entire first season you were rooting against? You had no shits given about it. He's just a piece of crap. And throughout this entire season, he's been slowly, I'm talking about Wild Bill, but he was slowly redeeming himself, showing his true colors. And after this episode, it's like, God, I fucking feel for Wild Bill. This was Wild Bill's episode. There's other things going on. I'm not trying to say that this was just the Wild Bill episode, but I'm like, oh my fucking god, the way they ended it was just so fucking perfect. It's not a perfect episode. I'm not trying to say that, but like the way they sewed it all in, and the way that you understand, it's like, I'm like, God, it's just, wow, this was freaking perfect. I thought this was going to be like, okay, here comes a middle of the road episode. We're just getting some flashbacks to pander at the time. We can't afford the wrestling ring again, after last week's dynamic. Actually, every episode since the premiere, every episode's been a wrestling match. So they had to kind of take a little bit of a break this week. But oh my god, this being a character piece episode was so well done. I love it. I really, really did. At the end of this, I feel so much more related and more connected to Bill as a character. And I'm just like, oh man, oh my god. It's like, this was again, I don't think Heels is a multi-season story. It's just one continuous story, and then we're just getting it in seasons chunks. And I'm just like, damn. Shout out to the writing team. Shout out to the entire cast, especially Chris Boyer, the actor for Wild Bill. I think this is right now. Such a phenomenal job. Such a great performance. I think this is one of my favorites of the whole season, of the whole show so far. Not the way I was expecting. I literally did not know what I was getting into going into this episode. I really wasn't. Now seeing says, I'm like, oh my god, this was so freaking... Again, it's another one of those... I wish I could have watched it live so I could understand just the energy of that week, of just understanding him more as a character. And honestly, again, I think this was a fantastic fucking episode. Fan-fucking-tastic. I want to get right into it. So let's go for the Butcher recap and talk about this week's episode of Heels. So I want to say we begin in... Okay, that's actually a little precarious. I already forgot where the frack did we begin. Did we just begin at the DWL? I want to say we do. No. We're at the house. Ace is making a vision board for all of his new, goals he wants to do as the Condemned, as this new, wrestling character, and also at the same time to kind of figure out what does he want in his own future. Obviously wrestling isn't forever. He's gonna probably want to take a different path eventually. So he's kind of trying to align his chakras, if you will, to get to where he wants to go next. His mom's barely let him back in the house, which I'm like, didn't she hate you? Didn't she reject your return offer a couple weeks ago? I'm like, okay, it's your son. I'm like, okay, fine, I'll come him back home, I guess, so, charge him rent free, I guess, because, I'm pretty sure Jack still hasn't increased his pay. His mom does express some concern about, Ace's behavior, because, again, a few weeks ago, he literally left Duffy, now he's back in Duffy, and then he said, I'm done with wrestling, and he comes back in wrestling to a new character. So she's just kind of concerned that Ace is making some very brash choices, not really thinking them much through. I do agree about that. Then again, the man's kind of lost right now. He doesn't really know his place in the world right now. He's just kind of aligning to what he does know and trying to improve on it. Hopefully that will give him the spark that they need to keep going forward. But hopefully we'll see what happens. We'll see. Again, this was I think the only Ace scene we see in the episode. Then we cut over back to the DWL. Apparently, they're having a meeting with the big old executive, not the executive, like the representative from now as a streaming company. My apologies. This up and coming streaming platform that they met up with yesterday in Florida. He's agreed to come all the way down to Duffy to meet with them, to kind of hear what they got to say, kind of give them the pitch, and kind of them pitching them on what the DWL is about. Obviously, Track's trying to keep a cool level of mind. This is their kind of like their first big like pitch meeting. I think I'm not sure again, like if Jack's done anything in the past year, but like besides the minor sponsorships and then the fair, this is like a big opportunity for them to to kind of reach to new heights all around the world. So he's kind of a bit like trying to still be the same old Jack Spade, but at the same time he's trying to be like, okay, it's my first time. I'm not really, I'm trying to do my best over here. Meanwhile, Wild Bill and Will are kind of having deja vu for a little bit. They're like, okay, here we go again. Another big pitch. And obviously we're like, okay, so I'm guessing from their past, they probably had a big pitch together. However, thankfully, we get a flashback where it's still time. Tom and Bill are relatively young. I'm not sure. Like, it's kind of weird that Wild Bill's actor is a completely different, younger actor. And I assume Tom is like, same person. They just put like a very heavy makeup. I guess they just couldn't find another Tom actor. So I'm like, you know what? We're gonna douse you in makeup. We're gonna make you super fucking young. Maybe like early to mid 30s. Like, mind you, you get a young Mrs. Spade. You get a young Willie, again played by a different actor. Which I'm like, okay, that makes kind of sense. Like they want to, make them a little bit, make them, different actors and actresses so they can be younger. So apparently they got a big old meeting with TBS, Turner Broadcasting Station, that they apparently want to televise one of the DWL matches, and this could be a big thing for them to get on the level of the WWF, which was again at the time a very big deal. So like to get one of the indie leagues on the national level would be a huge big deal for them. So it's only a formality. It's just the first meeting. And that definitely this is kind of what they need right now to get the ball moving. So it's going to be Tom, Bill, and Willie heading up to Georgia to meet with them. But only Tom's going to be present at the meeting, not Wild Bill or Willie. They're just there for moral support. They head over there. Tom's being very professional, very like, okay, I've never seen this side of Tom before. Tom's usually been a brash motherfucker, been like a very, kind of like similar to Jack, where like he's got his way with words, mind you. But this is kind of like, for once civil. He meets up with his friend, who's like, I can't be here at the meeting, but I'm like, just be patient. He's gonna get to you. Just, Mr. Turner's a very busy guy, very busy man. So I'm like, you just be patient, and then it's a formality meeting. Just do your usual charm. You should be good to go. Tom's like, okay. Outside, Willie and Bill are just kind of dicking around a little bit, like apparently I forgot about this from season 1. They were a couple similar to how Ace and Crystal were back in season 1, so it's kind of like similar to them, where like she's the valet, and now similar to Crystal, she eventually wants to kind of get in the ring. She kind of wants to get in on the action, find a way to lead her away from being a valet to being an official wrestler. And Bill's like, it's not a bad idea, but I'm like, right now, let's let Tom do his thing. Once we eventually get this deal worked out, we get some extra money going, then I'll talk to him about it. Maybe that should be a good way to get you more involved in the DWL, respectfully. And yeah, so however, an hour passes at the TBS. Sadly, Tom doesn't have his meeting. Apparently, the president stepped out. He's done for the day, and obviously, Tom is vivid. He's like, that's not the way. Come on, I literally drove all the way down here from Indiana for y'all. Like, at least I forget if Duffy's in Georgia or Indiana. I completely forgot. I drove all the way out here. Like, at least give me the courtesy of hey, I'm sorry, we just had a busy schedule. We can fill you in some other time, so having to drive all the way up there, and obviously he's a bit pissed off right now, so they head back home. Same interjection when Ace shows up in full desolate condemned gear. I'm like, okay, you know what? Ace got the point. He's like, hey, he wants to see what we're about. Here I am. I'm like, you know what? Fair point, Ace. I'll give you points there. Willie and Bill are sadly not privileged to the meeting right now. They have to step up. It's only going to be between the spades, so even Stacy gets to show up, which I'm like, okay, interesting. That okay. I mean, it's kind of weird. I mean, again, like I know she wants to be more involved in the DWL, but like even before, like back in season 1, it didn't seem like she was very active in it. She just kind of felt like a traditional housewife. So that's why it was kind of weird, like that they included her in this scene, and not the other two who are like big proponents of the DWL, but like they're like, okay, do whatever we want to do. While Bill says like this is complete deja vu. This is kind of like TBS thing all over again, like almost 2-3 decades ago. So what we need to do now is kind of just keep ourselves busy, just don't like, let's not repeat the past. Let's just let's motivate the troops. Let's keep them like motivated. Let's keep it going so that, they can like, not lose a pep in their step. So Wild Bill's going to handle that while, Willie enjoys a smoke break. Adrian Chase, well, not Adrian Chase, shows up. Very formal, very presentable. Stacey comes in, kind of woos him over a little bit. I can sense it. And the way, like, Jack and Ace, like, this is not Jack's first meeting with, like, a potential prospect for client or a potential, sponsorship. But for Ace, like, he's just like, yeah. He's just chiming in, and I love it. I love it. Like, Ace doesn't know what to do. He has no training. He didn't get taught this in school. I just found that to be pretty funny. Eventually they get situated. He pitches them like, yeah, we're a streaming platform right now, up and coming. We're getting some really good numbers right now. We're being courted by a bigger streaming platform, which we don't name because we don't have the money to even afford those names right now. So, well, we can say that we're getting courted, but they want to see a big boom in the subscriber numbers somehow. And they're looking to partner with live sports, and wrestling is obviously a big event for a lot of people. So obviously, they can't get WWF or anything like that, but getting one of these local leagues, such as, Dystopia or maybe the DWL, that maybe they can get a bigger, pop that would lead them for more subscribers. Obviously, right now, like, the reason why he's there is, like, to hear the story of the DWL. Like, what makes the DWL special so they can get this prime opportunity to, be part of a much bigger thing. Because it's not only just the DWL joining up with this streaming platform, it's that this streaming platform is going to get bought out by an even bigger streaming platform, which will use them as affiliates so that they can also get promoted by the bigger stuff. So basically, somehow, get it at the smaller level, so when they do get the big time boost, then they get lifted up too. So that's basically the pitch. So Jack's about to explain the entire history of the DWL. And I'm like, oh great, we're going to need more flashback. But thankfully not in regard. We cut over back to the ring where Wild Bill's giving a lesson to the fellow troops, congratulating them that, like, the last month of the DWL has been a big success, since the fair, Crystal's introduction, Ace's return. Like, it's been a non-stop climb to success. They're going up. He does not deny that, but at the same time, he's warning them, do not get cocky. Just because we're getting an upward trend does not mean we can sit comfortably. We have to keep going. We have to, keep working on our craft, improving ourselves, keep doing what we're doing, but even better the next week and the week after that and the week after that. Just keep the momentum going. Do not stop. Because, yes, there is a meeting happening. This could lead to bigger things for us. But right now, that's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. Even if this deal doesn't work out, we got to keep working on ourselves, improve on, work on the next thing. So maybe we can get another partnership. Again, like a couple weeks ago, Wild Bill was being called out by wrestlers like for being selfish and like being like, like a person stuck in the past. So seeing Wild Bill here kind of like giving his lessons of inspiration, kind of like, telling them like, these are the fruits. I was going to say balls, but I'm like, I'm not going to go that gross yet. Of my labor, I'm passing these lessons on to you. Where, like, in wrestling, it's all about luck. It's all about skill. It's all about, getting to the right place. Where, like, you can work hard all of your freaking career. You can work here for 20, 30 years. You may never see an ounce of promotion, of an upward, of nothing. Just because you work hard doesn't mean shit. You just gotta keep doing what you're doing, and eventually the right people will notice you. Meanwhile, over at Dystopia, Rooster's cutting a promo, which I'm like, oh god, green screen, oh my god. I mean, again, I know they got the fancy schmancy money, I understand that, but still, it's kind of like, I'm kind of like, okay, shoot me in the head right now. This is kind of corny as hell. Even Goalie's like, what the hell are you doing, Rooster? Like, I wrote the damn script, and you're just fucking it up. Like, speak more clearly, my dude. One of his tech people come over and explain something like all the analysis, all the graphs, all the fancy statistics type of ordeal that I did not do so well in college. And he's explaining that, yeah, the biggest boom of the night was Crystal. Crystal brought us it's the most tracked thing. She's the most tracked person of the wrestler. She's not even officially ours. He's like, okay, she's our golden ticket. She's our new golden ticket. We need to get her so our numbers can go up and fuck the DWL once this lawsuit's over. So he calls Willie to basically make a deal. Say, hey, look, give me Crystal. Official. Like, I know in the storyline, Crystal's with us, but we want an official sign over to Crystal. Like, once this promotion's over, once the crossovers come to an end, Crystal will officially be part of the dystopia. And Willie's like, look, I can't represent her. Like, she's going to say no. I'm going to say no. Like, fuck you. Like, you already done enough shit to her. What, now you want us to, like, give us one of her wrestlers? Like, that's not part of the contract. That's not part of the deal. And at the end of the day, it's her choice. So, fuck you. At the same time of that phone call, Crystal, Willie gets another flashback moment to a few months after the original meeting with TBS. Tom managed to book another one, a new one. Hopefully this time it's gonna stick. And Willie again at the time was a bit different person. She was more like similar to Crystal, trying to find opportunities to rise on her own. She even asked about if Tom and his wife were doing okay, and Tom's like, "Of course we're okay. Why would you be asking that question?" It's like, I'm sorry, I'm overstepping there. It turns out Tom managed to make a new deal, or was offered a different deal than what was originally promised. So they want Tom to appear on a televised event, not Tom and Bill, which honestly is going to be a huge blow to Bill, and that means, Bill not being involved, meaning that Willie cannot be involved, considering the fact that she's his valet. So both of them cannot be part of the televised event if the contract's signed. Which I'm like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a shitty move. And Tom's like, I know it is, but right now we just need to get the DWL on TV screens everywhere, and then we'll focus on getting you guys up there. The rest of the wrestlers, like, it's a process, it's a step-by-step thing. So be very, very patient here. So, but I promise you, you're gonna be good. You're gonna be good. I'm going by myself to Atlanta this time. I'll handle the whole the spiel. I'll get there when I get there. Willie's pondering her life choices outside while Crystal comes out trying to ask for, any update on the meeting. She's like, nope, they're still in the meeting right now. We can't really, interfere right now. So, yeah, even, Willie's just upfront with Crystal, like, yeah, I got a call from Gully. He wants to officially poach you, like an official contract, official transfer you from the DWL to Dystopia. Obviously, Crystal's like, no, I'm not going to do that. And she's like, well, Willie explains to both sides of it. We're like, it is respectful that, Crystal is loyal to the DWL, that she wants to stay with the people that kind of gave her name in the first place. But at the same time, Willie just said, like, don't hit yourself onto one wagon. You're still young. You're fresh. You got this. You're hot by now. You get the attractability on now two different sets of audience members. That if you want to leave for Dystopia, it's not a bad thing. You get money, more attention, and you get to see what else is out there. Maybe try out Dystopia for a while. If you don't like it, come back to the DWL with a boatload of money. Maybe opt for Jack alone or something like that. Regardless of that, like, she's just like, look, don't wait around for people. Don't don't expect Jackson to immediately do a women's league officially. Don't expect him, like, with the storyline and everything. Don't just expect other people to promise your success. Make your own success. Whether that is, taking advantage of an opportunity that might feel a little too uncomfortable for you at the time, but at the same moment, it's like, you kind of can't really, like, give up a good thing. Again, Willie's giving her own life experience where, like, she willed too much up with Tom, and that didn't really pay out. And then we come back over to the flashbacks where Tom has a second meeting with the TBS president, but it doesn't happen again. Tom gets fed up. He's like, I'm done. I'm not doing this. I'm going to leave. Fuck y'all. I'll go do something else. So Tom returns back to Duffy, brings back the news back to Bill and Willie, basically saying, like, they don't want us. They snubbed me 2 times. Okay, I'm going to call this other guy, get us on WWF, and that's where we're going to get the ball rolling, while Bill's obviously smelling like something's off here, something's wrong. And also Tom suggests to him, like, okay, going forward, Willie's my valet. We're going to do a storyline switch, so she takes over for me as my valet, and then we'll find someone new for you to break in. And Bill, honestly, you kind of feel sorry for Bill. Like, Bill wasn't perfect. Bill's still not a perfect guy now and then. But you kind of feel like he got sidelined a lot. Where, like, Bill, it was Tom and Bill. And then Bill kind of wasn't involved in the TBS deal. He was not involved at all. Even WWF seems like an afterthought to him. Like, okay, you'll also be there. But, like, it's not like you're included there. At the same time, the valet that was written for you in your storyline, I'm taking her away to my valet. So she can also go to the WWF with me if they only want me. And obviously, Bill's going to feel, like, insulted and, like, like, he kind of got betrayed. And I'm like, okay, then he didn't leave the WL for like just for greedy purposes. I honestly would leave too. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, you're my best friend, and like I understand the larger business at play. I understand that, but at the same time, it's like, it just I just felt bad for Bill. Like, the two people he trusted the most in the world kind of betrayed him in a way, because Willie didn't argue back. She accepted the change. Tom immediately demanded it, and Bill kind of had to like roll over and take it. Which I'm like, damn, I really feel for the guy. I really did. I'm not surprised he left at some point later on after this. Even like Bill and Willie meet up in the locker room. They kind of like rehash it out about that about that day, about like just her abandoning him, and then just everything that happened after that. That it's kind of funny, like the person they abandoned, thinking that, oh, you're the guy going to take us down. He was the one who actually went off to get the life, to get the actual wrestler life, getting the big name lead, getting all the freaking money. It's funny. It's just funny how life works sometimes. Like, you never really. That's why I honestly say treat everyone you meet with respect, because you never really know. You really don't fuck over anyone. It's all of us or none of us. Like that. At least in my mind. I know people are gonna say like, no, it's all about you. Focus on yourself. I do understand that at certain moments, but at times it's like we're all in this together or we're not. So I'm like, it's not that I would have wished ill will on Tom. It just seemed like, yeah, he was focused on making the DWL like a big name. But he kind of lost his friendship with Bill as a cost of it. And, Bill went off, did his own thing, did whatever he had to do, and it paid off for him. It really did. But Bill still feels like, hurt by it. Like, like, it's different because, like, when they talked about this back in season 1, apparently, Bill was just stopping by once in a while. He wasn't, like, really involved in nothing. Now he's part of the DWO again, and he's, like, actually wants to see succeed this time around. But seeing Willie every day kind of reminds him too much of the trauma, which I'm like, that's understandable. I'm not going to blame the dude. Like, you can't really, like, excuse the actions that she did and Tom did as well. You really can. Then I think we just go into the rest of flashbacks of the last scene of the episode, where I believe we cut over later in the future, where it's Tom and his wife, now of the age that they were at the start of the show's flashbacks. And they're just talking about like how things are right now with the DWL. Kind of sounds like my dad sometimes, to be honest with you, if I'm getting a little too personal there. Or he's like, yes, things aren't doing good again. We're not making enough income. If I'm reminding you, if the DWL doesn't, if we can't pay the DWL, we can't pay up the house. And if we can't pay up the house, we lose the DWL, which I'm like, kind of like, if we're not paying both things, we fuck up both things. And, he's just explaining to her, like, we're going to find a way to, like, get the money from this. We're going to find a way, like, to right the ship. And, even they were doing some, like, remember when Jack and Ace used to run around these halls when they used to be, like, using to josh around and, like, get into trouble and everything. And, now that's kind of like an empty house. And honestly, this was kind of like a heartbreaking moment for me because, like, not really heartbreaking for me, but, like, just heartbreaking in general, where, like, the Mrs. Spade just tells him out, like, hey, look, I totally hear what you're saying about right now. We're like, if we're not doing well in the DWL, we're going to lose our house. And if we lose our house, we lose the DWL as well. I understand all that. It's just, you promised me 2 decades ago that we were going to live the high life. We were going to live in a mansion. We were going to have butlers. We were going to have like all the money in the world. The DWL was going to be the big thing that we need, the big shot ticket we need. And it's been 2 decades and, we're still living in the same crummy house in Duffy. Our kids, thankfully, are off on their own, doing their own thing. And, we've done our job as, co-parenting. But now it's kind of like the thing of, like, why are we staying together? Like, I don't think you're going to be able to, like, get the DWL off its feet now. It's kind of too late. Like, you've had decades and decades of trying. What makes it different, this year or the next year or the next year? Like, what makes it different? Like, she's tired. She's done. Like, she's like, I'm clocking out. I'm done. Like, if you're saying we're going to lose the house and we lose the DW, let that be. But I'm not staying with you. I'm done. Like, if you don't fix this ship right now, I'm going to leave you. I'm going to divorce you. Like, our kids are out of the house. There's no need for us to stay together anymore. So I'm like, I'm only here because I'm your wife. But, like, I've been through a lot of the hard times. And I'm ready to move on and, like, try and get a good life for myself. Which I'm like, that sounds kind of shitty, to be honest with you. Like, when you marry someone, it's like, it is for better or for worse. But at the same time, it's like when, I do understand when the same person promises you over and over again, like, this is the year, we're going to put the DW on the map, we're going to put more money into it to get more return. And sometimes that doesn't work. And obviously Jack is kind of like, I'm pretty sure inside he was heartbroken that she said that. They're like, I'm going to leave you if you don't fix this problem. I'm going to leave you. And so he has no choice but to go meet up with Wild Bill. And honestly, I thought this was the first time they're seeing each other in many, many years. That's what I was thinking going into it. Apparently, he's shooting a movie, a very cliche, very corny, angelical romance story, which is he's making bank off. 350K for 3 weeks, bro. That's like fucking luxurious. Damn, I would take that job in a heartbeat. Even he says like, yeah, the script is shit, but like it's a fucking seller. Which I'm like, yeah, kind of. It's probably Netflix. It's probably Netflix. This is its own Redbox hitbox movie. I forgot what it was, but like I'm pretty sure this was something Netflix would probably do. To be honest with you, they meet up in the trailer. They're just catching up. Jack is like, just reading the script, just kind of like, giving like suggestions for the script and everything. And yeah, obviously, Wild Bill goes into it, it's like, okay, so what you doing here for? Like, what's the reason? Thankfully, he's interrupted by the 80 by the what's the term? It's the one of the assistants that he has to go back to set, that they're about to start shooting the next scene. So they decide to agree to meet up later that night at a bar, and you just continue talking it out, and they do, and they gotta get through the brass tack of it. It's not really much of a thing where like, okay, how much do you need this time? And he's not this time. So apparently, at some point in the past, they've reconnected, and Wild Bill's has been loaning him money, like a ton of money, and like it's never been returned. Apparently, it's probably 9 times that Tom has done this, where like now he owes Wild Bill 450K worth of money, and that he's probably already sure like, I'm never gonna get that back, which I'm like, shit, that fucking sucks, like really sucks. Like Tom, like honestly, this is the moment in the story where like I honestly feel like Tom was the piece of shit. I don't think Tom was perfect minded. Both of these characters are not perfect. But the way Tom did treat him, where like, that Bill, he kind of pushed Bill to the side, thinking that he was not going to be the ticket for them to go to the big time. And it turns out Bill was the ticket to the big time. And then all these years later, he's asking Bill for money for his league, also promising him, do not tell my wife, do not tell anyone that we're doing this. I'm just going to lie and say, well, there goes my camera. I don't know if it died. It probably died. We're just going to keep going from here. Where was it going to go? Yeah, so the fact that he did that to him, and I'm not completely surprised by this. I'm really not. But like, I'm still at the same motion of like, Bill is still giving him the money, because that's just a sign that like he does care about the DWL. He does care about Tom, but at the same time, he feels hurt that like at this point there's no friendship between them. It's just like we have this mutual connection to each other, and you come every 1.5 years to borrow me money, and that's basically our relationship. Every time I get a text from him, it's like, okay, I'll get the funds ready. It's like at the end of our interaction, I'm gonna transfer you over 50K or something like that, and that's literally their entire spiel. And he's kind of getting tired of it. He's like, I'm kind of done. Like, I can take all that, everything you've done to me, and after all this time, I'll keep doing it. I don't mind, but like, I kind of don't want to see you anymore. Like, you kind of like insulting me. Like, you're using the little friendship we had left and kind of just insulting me. Or like, you just used me as your personal loan shark, and I'm not even charging you interest. He's not even asking for the money back because he knows he's not going to pay him back. And the fact is, and again, like Willie said in the last episode, the DW has been survival mode, and this is one of the many things that Jack had to do to keep the ship afloat. Where it's like, Bill is not a bad guy. Like, if he was a piece of shit, he would have just said, fuck you, and leave. Well, that would make him a piece of shit. It'd be like, here's your return attitude. But the fact that he still gave them $450,000, that is not a lot. That's not a little amount. That's a lot of money. And they never really forgave. They never really like patched the ship because Tom was too macho to admit, I'm sorry. But he still came to him for money. This scene alone, this was the best scene in the episode, where like, this was the turning point for me thinking that Bill is not a bad guy. He's not perfect. He's very imperfect. He still has a lot of like, shit, that he still has to get through. But this scene was like, it changed my perspective on him. It really did. This guy actually does care about the league. He does care about his success. It's just Tom that didn't really like value him as a person. Even after all the money he gave him, all the time that has passed, he still never treated him with anything more than that. And maybe Tom did. It just he just didn't want to express it. He didn't like have the galls to do so. So he leaves. He just said, "Look, you'll get the money. Just contact my account, and he'll wire you the money. Don't worry about it." Tom accepts it. Again, it's like after hearing all that, that's not how Tom wants to leave it. But again, Tom doesn't want to say what he has to say because he's just too ashamed. So he takes the money. He contacts his wife saying that, hey, look, we're good for a while. We got some money. We're gonna be safe for a while. So you can put down the pen and paper for the divorce. And then he looks over at the script that that Bill left for him, and he starts like writing a different monologue for him in one of the lines. He drops it off to Bill first thing in the morning. Well, not directly, more like via the security guard that's watching the lot. And Wild Bill's like, he scoffs. He's like, okay, this is his like, I'm sorry message, but Mike, that doesn't really do much. Yeah. So after that, we cut back over to, we cut back over to our Duffy, where the meeting's over. Now Adrian Chase is leaving back to his car. Everyone's just kind of like, wondering, was it a yes? Was it a no? What's going on? And it's like, it's kind of like that. We don't really know. Everyone else shows up. They explain to him, well, the meeting wasn't like an iron lock, like we got the deal, but like, they are interested. They want to see what we can bring to the table before they sign us up. And again, obviously they're still looking at Dystopia as potential options too. And yeah, right now, like, all they can do is, like, keep working the hardest they can be. Like, these next few weeks are going to be very crucial. Maybe we'll get the deal. Maybe we won't. But, like, still at the end of the day, we are the DWL. We're going to do our damn best. We're going to keep raising our crowd, raising our level, and that's what we're going to do. And they all chant. Willie's kind of like, again, like, pondering over her life choices again. Like, because, again, I forgot, because Gully also offered her a job at Dystopia. And now she's wondering, like, am I really playing the right team here, or should I pivot? And she's thinking about that. And we have one more flashback where Bill's performing the speech that Tom wrote for him, and it does really well with the director and stuff. And he's like pretty happy, like, okay, maybe we can like reforge a relationship going forward. He goes back to his trailer or his house, I forgot where it was, and he gets a call from Mrs. Spade, and this is like kind of the interjection moment where like this is the moment where Bill finds out that Tom died. That Tom committed suicide. Now, was it because of the divorce, or just everything in his head, or just, Bill, words? We really don't know. Like, it could be just everything. But, like, obviously Bill breaks down because, like, that's his best friend. That's, like, someone he spent so many of his golden years with, and he's gone. He never got a real chance to say goodbye. He kind of he insulted him for, like, a respectful reason, but it's also, like, I feel for him. I really do. And I really feel sorry for it. I really feel sorry for Bill. Like, he cried. It's, like, very believable. He looks at the script as, like, this is the last thing Tom ever said to me, in a way. And honestly, I do feel sorry for him. I really do. Like, you lost your best friend. He never really got a good chance to say goodbye. And that was it for this week's episode of Heels. Again, after saying all that, after, talking about all of it, even watching all of it, it's like, this was such a well-done episode. It really did. They progressed the storyline in multiple ways than once. They gave Bill, I guess, the episode that he needed to, like, after this, I can't look at Bill, like, the same way. Like, obviously, eventually down the road, I would love to rewatch Heels, probably with my partner, like, just maybe in with other friends. But, like, this show was so freaking phenomenal. It was so fucking good. It was, like, this was, like, the flashbacks, I had hesitation for that, like, because you can really fuck up a flashback, because, like, it's kind of like, you're pandering the shit, but, like, this was so well done. It continued to, like, expand the history of the DW, of the show, understanding these characters a little bit more so, putting even more questions of, like, how the past is coming back to, like, rear its ugly head, and, like, kind of give them, like, they're older now. They're more mature. They've had more wisdom. Like, now, kind of being back in the same situation, will they do the same thing again and hope to God things are going to work out okay? Or is it at the same time where, like, it's not, and, like, they're just wasting their time, and maybe they should jump ship when they have the chance? Honestly, again, I really don't know. Like, everyone just, like, there's a good chance that either the DWO is going to raise up to the next level, or everyone's going to leave. It's either one of the two. Like, sadly, something might happen, just the way, like, there's so many people talking about leaving and leaving and leaving. I'm like, someone's going to leave. Like, I'm just going to say that flat out. Someone's going to leave. But right now, with this episode, their purpose was, like, putting more of the seeds of doubt in people's mind, but at the same time, giving me the utmost clarity that Bill will not betray them. Like, they won't. Unless it's, like, the biggest right-hand twist of the whole time. Like, I do not expect Bill to ever turn ship again. I feel like that Bill's here for the long run, And, you know, thankfully he is growing as a character. He really is. And honestly, that's like the best thing to notice and witness live, where like you see a character have their turning moment, where like, you know, for the audience to see a character that they fought differently, now changing their perspective differently to something else, is such the best feeling in the show, because that demonstrates growth and progression. And in all honesty, it just presents itself like they know what they're doing. They know the story they're telling, and they know these characters have to grow and evolve, and they, you know, have to be different. Otherwise, they just become samey. But it's not, thankfully. And that's what I really love about this show and this episode a lot. So with that being said, I'm giving this episode 2 thumbs up. This was fantastic. I think this rivals one of the best episodes of the whole show right now. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this week's episode of Heels. I would love to have a conversation with you down below. As always, I really would. But I believe that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX, reviewing every episode in the second season of Heels. If you want to know what we're doing normally, What's the Two besides our Heels episode reviews. Right now, we're just doing Heels, you know. That's it. That's basically it. We'll be back in a couple days with another Heels episode review, and then after that, the season finale, and then the week after that, the season 3 prediction. So, yeah, I really want the strike to be over so we can get a season 3. I do not want the show to end. I really don't. Like, I feel like there's still much more great story to tell. I really don't want them to, like, you know, punt to the ship. The stars, please be smart about this. You can do 4 power book shows. You can do freaking another Heels, please. But again, thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you haven't yet. Like, favorite, share if you want to. Ring the bell and follow us on social media. But until we see each other again, for all you Heels out there, thank you so much for watching again. But until next time, stay safe out there. Be good to each other. And as always, peace out.